Hey everybody, welcome back to Grit and Grind. So as you can see, we are pulling into the Ford dealership again. Me and my dad have been working over here. And if you remember from the last video, we actually were doing a stump, well, two stumps. Actually, it turned into three stumps. I did one off camera for that gentleman who lives about 15 minutes away from here. He was supposed to have a bunch of fill brought in, but the person who was supposed to do it, it didn't work out. So with all of the expansion that we've had over here and the amount of fill that exists, we're helping him out. So it is 8:46 p.m. Sorry, it's pretty bumpy back here. And we have quite a bit of fill to work with, but we need to get in that machine and get prepped because my dad is on his way back running a dump truck and we need to get ready for him. So I'll pick you up in a minute from that machine. So as you can see, there's been a lot of fill that's in here. We actually added all that parking, and this right here where that comes in. So right about here is where the existing lot stopped. We added all this, and millings were brought in the other day, so we also got all of this in. With all this fill that exists, we're going to use the 360 Komatsu to help get these loads out of here quick, loading a tandem. We're good for about 19 ton. All right, so we have a bucket full here. We are up on the pile, and we're probably about 12 feet off the ground at the tracks, so probably about 15 feet. And if you see all the way off in the distance, here comes my dad with the tandem. So we're gonna hammer down on this and hopefully get a few loads out this evening because they're calling for rain tomorrow. Like I said, this was very unexpected that we're gonna end up being the ones to do all of this loading of fill. So this was the Mac that we actually sold to a local company here when we got out of doing the tree portion of the business. Now we're just doing stump grinding and this kind of stuff. So they were nice enough to let us borrow it. So we're gonna try and get some loads in tonight. They need about 30 loads in total of fill, and it's gonna be a fight to try and get these in the next day or two here. So let me just talk to him and I'll bring it back. We'll talk through this a little bit more. Man, that's a gorgeous truck. I do miss it, but New York State's made it hard to keep these kinds of trucks on the roads. So pick you back up in a minute. All right, so we sent him out of here, first load. Now we're going to peel this back and clean this up and get this ready for when he comes back. And sorry for the little bit of a shakiness. I'm going to switch my camera angle here in a minute for you guys, but wanted you to kind of get the exact view that I have. I'm using a chest rig for the first time, or actually not a chest rig, a one of those necklaces, so they wrap around the neck and make it that you can see basically exactly what I'm seeing. Let me know if you like this. Let's clean this up so that way when he gets back, hopefully we can load out pretty quickly. That's the goal here. And I will get you some more footage in a little bit, actually loading trucks. I think he's got running about a 15-minute cycle time, so I think he did 3 or 4 loads without me already and said, hey, can you come help me? And of course it's my dad and my business partner, so I'm not going to say no to him, even though it is pretty late. probably going to have to come back here in the morning if I had to guess, but we'll find out. Like I said, 30 loads that he needs in total, at least. So that's going to go over there to the job we were at. We still have the excavator over there, the Komatsu PC78. This is nice for loading quick. That we can do some grading with, or my dad can do some grading with, because he's a wizard when it comes to operating. I do okay, but I am never going to sit here and say I'm God's gift to operating heavy equipment, because that's not the case. Like I said, I just do okay, and he's got probably 50 years on heavy equipment. I've got, well, I just turned 33 yesterday, so this is actually a recording day after my birthday. And I've been operating since I was probably like 6 or 7. Started off on skid steers with my dad and doing excavators too at that time. This actually, a 360 Komatsu, is not a small machine by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not claiming that, but I've operated plenty of bigger excavators in my time. This one is for sale, Niagara Frontier Equipment. But in the meantime, we've been using it to do a lot of this work over here. And it's been a good machine. So no complaints here. Clean this, get this out of the way for when he gets back, make it easy to cycle. So when talking with parking lot too, all of this, everything you see here was added on. This was all hayfield, that hayfield in the back, and they got more millings in, so they got this all right here that we dug out, topsoil, put the fill back in, and everything that I'm sitting on, fill back in. So they want to keep going. They have that big pile of millings over there that at some point is going to have to get put down, and you know, they get millings whenever they can. So plenty to do here. Nice that they'll help us out and sell us some of this topsoil. Like I said, that's Mac that we have. We used to have it. We sold it beginning of, well, actually, we sold it last year around June, I think. It was a good truck for us, but with the tree service shutting down, I didn't need that big of a truck anymore, and it was getting hard to keep it on the road. It started life as a tri-axle. New York State changed their regulations last year. Actually, it might have been 2023. And you had to have a steerable tag and remove any of the controls for the lift axle in the cab. That wasn't the big deal, but buying a steerable axle, because the one we had was not steerable, was very cost prohibitive. So we opted to just cut that off, make it a tandem with the bridge laws and everything. See me here, I'm trying not to put this piece of concrete in there. We're going to put this off to the side over here with some of the other big chunks. So cost of the steering axle was a lot. With the bridge laws, we only ended up losing about a ton of capacity, turning it into a tandem. So it wasn't even worth messing around with, if I'm being honest. So yeah, and it was still a good truck, like I said, but we didn't need anything that big for what we were doing. So I'm glad that it went to a home where they're getting a lot of use out of it. But if we need to borrow it, thankfully we can for this here, because like I said, this was not planned. He had somebody doing it, but that kind of fizzled out. So needed somebody to step in, buying the fill through our dealership here, and then getting everything, getting the truck, renting the truck out for them because they didn't need it for the next 2 days was pretty nice for us. So we are just going to use it in the meantime, get rid of this pile. This pile has to go anyway that we're sitting on, because this is right in the way of where we are going to expand and put all of this parking lot with milling. So we actually need to cut this grade down. We left it high to get back here. Cut this grade down, put these millings in at some point. So it's a win-win for everybody. We're getting this out of the way without having to move it over to there. And helps them out, helps us out. So yeah. All right, guys, he's back, so we're just waiting for him to line up, and we're gonna load up another one and keep trucking along here. Hey guys, I just want to jump in here and say the light is actually a lot darker than you think it is. The camera picks up a lot of light, so I can't see into the boxes good, and this camera is in fact above my head, so I have even less of a view, so I'm just taking my time here being really careful. And I'm trying to be real gentle because this box needs some work, so I don't want to damage it too much. And this is fill. It's pretty clean for the most part, but you saw there are some chunks in here, so I just want to be gentle and not damage the truck, especially because it's not ours anymore. You know, try to respect things when they're mine, but I try to especially respect things when they are not mine, because that's the only way you get to borrow and rent and get the opportunities you do. You treat everything like it was your own, even if it is no longer your own anymore. So that's how we're gonna do it. And it probably picks up a little bit better light on the camera for you guys, but it's already getting pretty dark here, so I'm trying my best without being able to see as much. Yep. All right. So that is load number 2 for me. I think 5 overall since we started. Man, I really do miss that truck. But it's nice that I still get to see it and work with it every now and again. And I'm glad it's being put to good use, because we, like I said, we're not using it as much as we should. That truck's probably going out every day, or at least every other day. It's a 99 Mac, and it only had, I think, about 270,000 original miles on it when we sold it. So it's got to still be under 300,000 at this point based on when we got rid of it. But we'll keep plugging away here. So anyway, guys, if you like this content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. This really does mean the world to me, anybody who watches these. And don't forget to leave in the comment below what kind of content you guys want to see. Do you want more excavating videos? Because we definitely have a lot of work to do over here. And do you want to see more stump grinding videos like the last video? Do you like when I putz around in the garage showing you different things? You know, I want to make stuff that you guys are going to enjoy. So share this with whoever you think might get a kick out of it. And we'll catch you on the next one.